You know, never forget, never forgive. We think of 9/11, and it's always, we never forget. You don't hear them say they never forgive, but you know deep down, America and the government, when it comes to forgiving for that, it is never forget, never forgive. All of the attacks on America are met with this never forget, never forgive moments. We have these Christian ideologies and Christian positions that we take on, this whole turning the other cheek and, being ready to quickly forgive and to love. Watching the sentencing phase of the Amber Guyger trial. This is the white woman officer, Dallas, Texas, that shot and killed Botham Jean in his own apartment. Sentenced to 10 years. And what I saw during the sentencing phase and in the middle of it was, you have the one black woman court officer who, for some reason or another, we have this, I don't know if it's what it is within us. I don't know if it's this sympathy or empathy gene that we have. I don't know what type of relationship she has with her, but she's stroking her hair, straightening her hair out so that it looks well kept in the courtroom, draping it over her shoulders so that it looks well organized and distributed. And she's doing that for about a good 40 seconds and then goes back into position. That's a court officer. Her duty, her job is to make sure there is no type of ruckus, melee, any type of disturbance, any type of violence that ensues while court is in session. Not the beautification and the glamour maintenance of a defendant. Okay, that's one. Two, you have Botham Jean's brother, who gives post-sentencing statements to Amber Guyger, the defendant. And, I cannot control another person's emotions or their true feelings. That's not my job. I don't get paid for that. I don't get judged for that. But he and I and many other people are at different places and spaces. Whereas maybe for him, for some reason or another that I cannot explain, maybe it provides some form of resolution, peace, solace, and reconciliation and closure. But he goes on to say that he loves her and that he wishes no ill will for her. He truly, truly loves her, and he hopes that God finds everything in his heart to, forgive her and help her find peace. And then does something that's oddly historic. For, as we've seen, cops have been routinely slaying citizens in this country, particularly black citizens, and only about in recent years there was one statistic where they're saying this. I think within the last 5 years there have been over 120 police killings and only 4 officers have actually been sentenced. His brother goes on to ask her for a hug. The judge okays it. He comes down off of the witness stand and meets her in the middle of the courtroom and then gives her this hug. They repeatedly, embrace and disembrace and then embrace, and she's crying. And so he hugs. This goes on for about like 2 minutes. Then after that's done, the judge comes down from the bench and proceeds to the family section and gives them, hugs and words of encouragement, warm words, hopefully words that'll probably give them some sort of peace or something in this permanent loss of life. But then after that, she goes around and then she hugs Amber Guyger. And this, it's the thing. And then she's sentenced to 10 years. So 10 years she's sentenced. Her family can visit her. She can see her family. 10 years goes by quick. She's young. I think she's 32 or something. She'll come out. She'll still be relatively young. Come back in society, and she can be with her friends and family. Both of them, Jean, can never ever redeem those moments. Those moments are stolen moments that are permanently gone. When his family visit him, is going to be at a grave site. He will not have any sons or daughters and children to leave a legacy in his name, in his parents' names. They will not get to know his brother, if he happens to have any children, will not get to know who Botham Jean was as a would-be uncle. His brother cannot see him alive again, and so this whole thing with this, let's stroke as a court officer, to beautify and calm this defendant convicted of murder. This hugging of her, even though I can't tell you what to do. I can't dictate your feelings and emotions. But to come down and hug your family member's killer, to come down off the bench as a judge, you're supposed to be impartial. Granted, showing impartiality during the trial, but after the trial, it's still, it's just, I don't know, man. I sometimes I think we let this, being the better human and Christian values, it always seems to resurface when it comes to us being the victims in this American society. When it comes to police killings, the news reporters always want to stick the microphone in the family's face of the victim. Oh, well, do you forgive the officer for killing your son, for killing your daughter, for killing your father, for killing your mother, for killing your brother, do you forgive them? Are you ready to forgive? Are you healed? Why? See, and the thing is, this stuff, it incentivizes bad behavior, because when people know that you're quick to forgive, it doesn't emphasize or reinforce the severity and seriousness of the wrong that they've done. It's just like if a person is cheating on their spouse. If a person cheats on their spouse and the spouse just says, I'm hurt, but look, just don't do it again, okay? And then goes about their merry way, that person, the spouse that cheated, doesn't feel any real repercussions. There's no real consequences. They think that all is well, all is forgiven, and so I can do it again because I know there's no real consequences. And so I think people look at this and say, hey, well, you know how black people are, they're quick to forgive, and before we know it, the nation will move on. We'll go through a couple of recession cycles. We'll have some blockbuster movies. We'll have some other national crisis like a tornado and a hurricane, or some famine and wildfires. We'll have a political election, and before you know it, Guyger's out of jail, and then 10 years is up. And people move on. We don't place a premium on our black lives. We have to let it be known, no, we're not happy. We're not satisfied. You will not be embraced. You will feel this pain. You will feel this emotional pain, the psychological torment, the visceral reactions, the spiritual disheartening that you've caused. You will feel it. We're going to let you know. We're not wishing you anything. If the most closest that you're going to get from me is just silence. Anything else is going to be of rebuke, ill will, stern reprimand. That's what, because this is what happens to us. We have to start placing a premium on our lives. All right, I'm out.